right, welcome back. Grab yourself some tea. We're gonna have a little chit chat. We're gonna talk about some, no big deal stuff like what really matters. What actually matters here. Today I have this. Oh, it smells so good. It's like a mango citrus herbal tea. I wanted to go with something herbal because I'm ready to relax. I'm kind of pooped. I got back from a retreat in the middle of this week, and it was just an incredible retreat, incredible people, and just having this part to say, if you ever feel the call to go to a retreat, because I dipped into my savings to go to this thing, I was not expecting to do it. I just felt the call, and it was like the most incredible thing, and it just filled my cup, and it has helped me so much. So that's just a little reminder. If you have something that's tugging at your corazon, your heart, just do it. Listen to it, at least, consider it. All right, y'all. So today we're talking about what really matters. Like, no big deal, right? What really matters? Don't mean to make this too existential, but what an interesting time to be alive, right? We got all this AI stuff, creating a lot of contrast, creating a lot of disruption. People waking up to their own spirituality and their faith, myself included, through these interesting past 3 or 4 years. And I think just in general, we're seeing this overall humans realizing and waking up to the fact that we're all human. Like, oh, we're human, just going on this ride on this massive rock that, so what do we do? Why are we here? Yeah. So how interesting that, with all these changes, we're realizing that we long for greater meaning. We long to create more beauty in the world, and we long to connect with a resonant community, right? People who just get us and we get them. And it's no surprise. And with many career changes too. I know there's so many career changes, and we're like, man, I thought this is how I brought value. I was valuable for this. We have so much change, even existential change for many who felt like their worth was so attached to their career and what the thing was that they thought was valuable. And all of a sudden AI does it in 2 seconds. And now it's like, what am I to do? So with all that, we have a lot of individuals entering creative spaces, spiritual spaces, and entrepreneurial spaces. And today, I want to share what I have learned over the course of these past 10 years, and then in greater concentration over the past 3 or 4 years, on what it actually means to be an entrepreneur. And I hope that this helps you, because this is wisdom I wish I would have had. And this is going to be principles. It's not going to be like, all right, so you set up your ads by doing like, it's not, no, because that, yeah. So we're going to talk principles that you can nurture in your life. And even if you're not a creative, an entrepreneur, or whatever, you're just a human, this might help you. And for those of you who are seasoned in any of these areas, these might be gentle reminders of some areas where maybe if you feel like something's missing, or you feel like something's deflated or something's disconnected, hopefully this brings you back to yourself and to why you even got into all this in the first place. So, this is stuff I learned from my personal observations, my personal experiences, and also from sitting with people who were many, many more decades along in their journey than myself, and learning from their mistakes, learning from individuals who were really unhappy with where they ended up, and people who were super happy and elated with what they've built, which took them going through things that were not so great, right? So together we'll learn a little bit here. All right, I'm gonna take a sip of tea. Let's see how this turned out real quick. Yeah, you'll notice, by the way, that we're not gonna have any cuts because we're hanging out. Cheers. It's warm. Ooh, yeah, that's nice though. Yeah, I like that. All right, a little mango never hurt anyone. So I want to start with, what is an entrepreneur in the first place? I feel like we've disconnected ourselves a little bit from that word. Like, everyone's an entrepreneur and everyone's building something. And it's like, there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a merchant, right? Like, a lot of people are just, there's nothing wrong with being a merchant, right? Just understand that there is a difference. So if a merchant is more of someone who is just going out there and just selling stuff. I buy an apple for $1 and I go sell it to someone for $4, right? It's arbitrage, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's great, but that's more of a merchant. An entrepreneur, let's actually look up the word, because it came from a French word. I don't speak French. It came from a French word around the 18th century. Let's look it up. And here's what it means. The entre is like between or among, and preneur is to take, like to take hold of, which is so interesting because it's like this person, an entrepreneur is a person who is in the in-between, and they take hold of the thing. Well, what thing? As an entrepreneur, you need to understand that you are a bridge. You are a bridge between an idea and reality. And I know a lot of individuals aren't super thrilled with a lot of the ideas that have come into reality. And I won't get on a soapbox for this, but the best way to make a difference is to look at what is your idea? What is the thing that you want to bring into the world? Look at that thing. Become the bridge to bring it into reality. We need more people who are bringing good things into this world. Okay, off that little box there. Another way to look at the word is it's someone who takes something on. I'm surprised they didn't. I don't think they taught this stuff to us. Even though I took an entrepreneurship degree. That was my core degree, and I don't remember them talking about this. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just, this is new and old. So it's one who takes something on. And in the historical evolution now, this is someone when we first saw this word, it was someone who took on large projects. It actually didn't immediately have to do with business, according to this research. It was someone who took on a large project. Often there are things like military conquests or construction, like bridges and roads and fortifications. I always think of like the Medici family. If you're familiar with the Renaissance and the Italian Renaissance and what was going on in Florence. I actually studied there for a year in Florence during my university and my time in university studying, and it was so beautiful, and I just fell in love with this idea. It was like always inside of me, but it just activated this idea of being devoted to a craft, being devoted to your craft. And I mean, you look around Italy and everything, it seems like almost everything has some kind of intention or meaning or purpose, and it lives on, and people honor it. And it's so beautiful. I think the Japanese are similar. I haven't visited yet, but I'd like to. So I think that's super beautiful. Later, as the entrepreneurs continued, the definition became more specific. Economists started saying that this is someone who takes on economic risk. And then later someone else came along and said this is someone who takes on risk in the face of the unknown. So I believe that kind of all of these are true, but overall, like the refined version of it for you to remember is that an entrepreneur is one who undertakes the responsibility of bringing something new into existence under conditions of uncertainty and risk. That's kind of cool. It sounds kind of big, right? It's like, that's kind of a big deal. And it should be. Like, it should be. We should be, this is my belief, I believe that we should be stewards of the things that we bring into the world because they affect everybody and the earth itself, right? And so how can we undertake and build and reorganize things in a way that serves everyone? Because at the end of the day, everyone actually wants that. Whether they express it that way or not, it's really what everyone wants. Kind of interesting. Oh, This tea is hitting, man. So, what are the 3 principles? We talked about what is an entrepreneur. Okay. So, here they are. I think I'm going to draw them for you so you get the idea. These are the 3 principles that entrepreneurs, creatives, I have usually seen, and I myself took on as if they were separate. Okay, you ready? You're going to write these down. It's impact, fulfillment, and can you guess the third? It's prosperity. Yep. Prosperity. And what most entrepreneurs, when they start off, or creative, or anyone creating something, what I have seen and what I did myself is that often we pick one. We pick one and it's like, this is what I'm doing. I am doing everything for fulfillment. In the name of fulfillment, I'm doing this fulfilling thing. No one else can stop me. Everything else is blah, blah. I'm fulfilled. Or we go and we say, I'm going to make an impact. This is where I'm going, and we're going to be impactful, leading the charge. I'm going to do a nonprofit, that kind of thing. Or it's someone who's just like, no, all about the money. It's prosperity, and we're just going to make a boatload of dinero. And so what I saw was that most people look at it as if it's a triangle. If you can see that. And what that leads to is that we think that we have to like move this around. Like if you're going to do something fulfilling, you're leaving behind prosperity. It is the opposite side of the planet for you. Like if you want to do something that's fun, fulfilling, forget making money, which isn't actually true. Same with impact. People think that, okay, well, if I'm going to make an impact, I got to sacrifice myself. I'm probably not going to have a lot of fun. And I probably won't make that much money. Might make a little money. And sometimes, we see obviously examples and exceptions of all this. But again, these are some of the core ways of viewing this that I have observed in others, including myself at a time. And so and same with prosperity, right? We think, okay, if I had to make money, which I did this is one of my most recent ventures. I leaned fully into prosperity. And I was like, oh, okay. I see. We need this. We need some cash flow. I was doing fulfilling and impactful stuff, and I'm like, yeah, we need cash flow. So I just cut out all that stuff out of my business, out of my life, basically, and committed fully to prosperity, which worked. Like we grew quickly, but I was left in a little bit of that burnout type stuff, and it wasn't for me. It wasn't authentic to me. And so that's the core, right? Like overall, like you want to do something that's authentic to you, because otherwise you won't sustain it. It's actually what burnout really comes from. It's just like, this isn't really true to you, right? And so eventually it's going to fizzle out because you can't sustain a thing that's not actually you, right? So what's the view? What's the alternative? So let's erase this little triangle. And this is what we replace it with. This is the way I see it. And we'll see if I can make this. The drawing's not going to be great. Hold on. Let's try this again. Is this thing going to... Yeah. Nope. Oh, come on. You're going to draw 3 circles. It's a Venn diagram, just to spoil it for like 3 seconds. So you're going to draw circles. There we go. I'm going to draw overlapping circles. It's a little messy, but that's the idea. These aren't things that are separate. They're components of your garden, right? You're going to water this garden, and you have to, and you get to nurture the things that make your life and your company and your whatever it is, your organization, your creation. You lean in and you do the thing that's impactful in whatever way is authentic to you. Same with fulfillment. You want to make sure that you design the thing that you're doing in a way that it is fulfilling to you and your team, because otherwise then your team gets burned out, right? Same with prosperity. You absolutely must, as the steward of this thing, as an entrepreneur, you must also focus on the prosperity element. I have like wrestled with this one so much. Because of my beliefs at the time. And I know many of you resonate with this, or maybe you feel like money is something. And we'll have a money conversation another time. But yeah, it's important that you also aim at making something that is prosperous. Because otherwise, I'll put it this way. I know so many incredible people who are struggling with money right now. And granted, the economy is interesting, whatever, regardless of the circumstance, the point is still, like, many of us didn't at the time focus enough on the structural components of building something that was prosperous for us, right? And so if you're not prospering, how are you going to keep serving, right? And prosperity can look different for different people. And that's the key I also want to drive home, is that not only is this not a triangle, it's a Venn diagram. You also want to remember that every single person is different, that these circles and how much they're filled in is going to differ per person. One person is going to be happy with 40,000 a year. One person is going to be happy when, they hit 40 trillion. And each person is a person of their own, as long as they're listening to themselves and that you're listening to yourself and what you really authentically desire in your heart. Because there's always a cost to everything as well. Remember that. So the impact that you're here to make, the fulfillment that you're here to receive, the prosperity that you're here to create for yourself, for your family, for your community, all of these things are components of creating something beautiful in your life. And so I also believe that these things won't really change much as we go through time, as currency changes, as what fulfills us changes, as what the impact that's needed in the world changes, which is also why in the core of my work we focus on vision and a much larger and further perspective of what we're aiming at, because then we can really build and we can maneuver life, we can maneuver the business landscape in a way that change becomes a little bit less relevant. So I also want to say that if you can picture like these things inflating, like maybe for you impact, you're like, I want to make a huge impact. That's like, I feel that, and just draw a huge circle around impact. If you want to be super fulfilled too, draw a huge circle. If it's like a little less than impact, and then prosperity, it's like, I'm good with $250,000 in my bank. That's fine. Cool. Like draw the circle and be okay that your circle is a little bit different. It's a little bit larger and like the proportions are a little different. Just like us as humans, like our proportions are all freaking weird anyway. Like if you looked around at everyone's, look at me, I'm a freaking, anyway. So we have to remember that everyone is different, and we have to, and we get to honor that everyone is on their own unique journey with their own form of expression in each of these areas. It's also important to remember, and I'll leave you with this notion that each of these will also change based on the season that you're in. In other words, and especially if you're bootstrapping, I've always bootstrapped my companies. So I started with my savings, and then credit cards that's how I got my funding. Dangerous. Be careful with that. So the point is to remember that there are going to be different seasons for you. There'll be different seasons where you will either by necessity or by inspiration or both need to focus more on impact or prosperity or fulfillment. And that's not a bad thing. Sometimes we get to a place and we're like, man, I feel so empty right now. Cool, good. Like, congratulations. Like, let me ask you right now, watching this, where do you feel you are right now in your business or your life or your creation, whatever it is? Where do you feel concentrated right now? Do you feel like, wow, we have been so impactful? Do you feel like I've been so fulfilled in my work? Do you feel like, man, I really feel like we've been focusing a lot on the prosperity side? Where do you feel you've been? And write that down or circle it or highlight it. And then, if you feel like something different is calling you, think about, what is this season calling you? Is it calling you to be more impactful? Do you feel a call to work on something that feels more fulfilling to you or your team? Is it time to focus a little bit more on building some prosperity? Is there a new offer? Is there a price change, a price increase that's coming up? Is the impact, have you been hoarding a little bit and it's time to go out and serve the community? Have you been hoarding time? Have you been hoarding your money? Have you been hoarding your resources in whatever way? Is it time to share that and lift up the community around you, right? And then have you been focused so hard on this stuff that now you're so drained with work and you don't know what to do? Is it time to delegate? It's time to finally let go of that thing that maybe you were so good at, or maybe you don't trust other people to let go of, and now it's time to delegate and focus on that new thing. Or maybe the unknown is a little bit intimidating to you, so now it's time, and now you get to have this opportunity to nurture the other circles in this Venn diagram for yourself and in your life. Yeah, y'all. So let me know where you've been and what season you're moving into. Or maybe you're just starting and maybe you're like, I haven't done any of this stuff. Well, where would you like to start? You know, I closed my agency, now the way it was, at least at the beginning of this year or the end of last year. And now I have this clean slate to take everything that I've learned and build something new. And I've been taking it real slow. So if you're kind of starting over, really feeling into, cool, I get to like, and you don't have to just focus on one of these, but think about where am I being called if I did have a focus? And then kind of, you can expand it from there, right? Like I'm definitely feeling the call right now in the area of impact. So this is good timing. My battery just ran out on this thing. All right, y'all. I hope that was helpful. I hope that made you feel like maybe I'm not alone. Maybe there are the crazy people who care about this kind of stuff out there. There are. And you're also not alone in this time of change, in this time of creating something that's meaningful and that comes from you, to be devoted to your craft. So enjoy it and let me know what came up, what came through for you on this little exercise of writing down where you've been and where you're going, or what you want to lean into more in your business, what you want to nurture more in your life, and continue to be curious in general. Last thing, be curious about these 3 areas of you. What matters to you in that area of prosperity? Like if you had a dream, what is that number? What's the number for you? What does prosperity mean for you? Maybe it's not a number. Maybe it's like, I want to be surrounded by a ton of people who I can just barter with. Whatever it is for you. Like, what does prosperity and abundance mean to you, right? And be honest with yourself and what you really need. And then fill out each of these circles. What is impact? What does impact look like for you? What is it you want people to feel from you? And what do you want people to feel from you? And what do you want? What would you love to see yourself and or your organization and your people doing for your community? And then how do you want to be fulfilled by this? What do you want to feel at the end of the day? How do you want to feel? And just write all this stuff out, y'all. How you want to feel, what you want to see. And I would say that over time it might change, but you'll also clarify and you'll start to then be able to fill in, if I want to feel this way and I want to see this, these are the types of things that I need to build. And be an entrepreneur, the person who is that bridge between me, this idea, and the world, and bringing it to life. All right, y'all. So go build something epic, build something beautiful in this world and for yourself and for your community. Cheers, y'all.